What's it? What's it? Been a long time. Been a long time. Not really, but kind of. So the last time y'all saw me was reading The People Could Fly. So we got us a new book. It's big. It's a Bible. So after I finished The People Could Fly, the series and all of that, I was like, I gotta be able to read something else. And then I think I was put onto this, pretty sure about Jujube, pretty sure. And I ordered it, but I didn't realize how thick it was. Like I didn't know it was gonna be like a folktale Bible. So yeah, it's October, it's Who Heritage Month, and so I figured it'd be appropriate to crack this thing open and see if we got find us a little scary story. And I don't really think this is too much scary, but I did find a Hant and Spooks section. So we're gonna read something called the Headless Hant. As you can hear, we got the going. The seasons have changed, and so this is gonna be some wintertime fun for us. I think I'm gonna hang out with y'all for this month in October, and then do a couple, maybe one or two stories a week for Who Heritage Month, and then take a break. I think we'll come back in December because I also have a really special surprise for February. We'll see if I'll talk about that at the end. Maybe. I might. All right, y'all. So this is called the Annotated African American Folktales. So there's like many of them. And then they have all these different sections and really cool pieces of information about them. So let's see. I wanted to see if I can find. Well, I think because this section is called Fears and Phobias. That's why. Okay. Fears and Phobias, Witches, Haints, and Spooks. All right. Cool. So this is called the Headless Hant. Stay hydrated, drink your waters. Turn the fire down just a little bit. A man and his wife was going along the big road. It was cold and the road was muddy and sticky red. And their feet was mighty nigh froze off. And they was hungry. And it got pitch dark before they got where they was going. 'Twan't long before they came to a big fine house with smoke coming out in the chimney and a fire shining through the window. It was the kind of a house rich folks lives in, so they went round to the back door and knocked on the back porch. Somebody say, "Come in." They went in, but they didn't see nobody. They looked up and down and all around, but they still didn't see nobody. They saw the fire on the hearth with the skillets setting in it, all ready for supper to be cooked in them. They saw there was meat and flour and lard and salsity and a pot of beans smoking and a rabbit a billing in a covered pot. Still, they didn't see nobody, but they saw everything was ready for somebody. The woman took off her wet shoes and stockings to warm her feet at the fire, and the man took the bucket and lit out for the spring house to get fresh water for the coffee. They allowed they was going to have them some brown beans. Hold on. Allowed. They was going to have them brown beans and that Molly Cottontail and that cornbread and hot coffee in 3 shakes. The woman was toasting her feet when right through the shut door in walks a man, and he don't have no head. He had on his breeches and his shoes and his galoshes and his vest and his coat and his shirt and his collar, but he don't have no head, just raw neck and bloody stump. He started to tell the woman without no mouth to tell her with how come he happened to come in there that way. She mighty nigh jumping out of her skin, but she said, "What in the name of the Lord do you want?" So he said he's in awful misery, being dead and buried in two pieces. He said somebody killed him for his money and took him to the cellar and buried him in two pieces, his head in one place and his corpse in another. He said them robbers dug all around trying to find his money, and when they didn't find it, they went off and left him in two pieces. So now he hankers to be put back together so as to get rid of his misery. Then the Hant said some other folks had been there and asked him what he wanted. But they didn't say in the name of the Lord, because she did is and how. And because she did is how. Oh. And because she did is how he could tell her about his misery. About that time, the woman's husband came back from the spring house with a bucket of water to make the coffee with, and set the bucket on the shelf before he saw the Hant. Then he saw the Hant with the bloody joint of his neck sticking up, and he come nigh jumping out of his skin. Then the wife told the Hant who her husband is, and the Hant begun to at the start and told it all over again about how he is the way he is. He told them if they come down into the cellar and find his head and bury him all in one grave, he'd make them rich. They said they would, and that they'd get a torch. The Hant said, "Don't need no torch." And he went up to the fire and stuck his front finger in it, and it blazed up like a light wood knot. And he led the way down to the cellar by the light. They went a long way down steps before they came to the cellar. Then the Hant say, "Here's where my head's buried, and over here's where the rest of me's buried. Now you'll all dig right over yonder where I throw this pot of light and dig till you touch my barrels of gold and silver money." So they dug, and sure enough, they found the barrels of money he'd covered up with the thick stuff floor. Then they dug up the Hant's head and hissed the thing on the spade. The Hant just reached over and picked the head off in the spade and put it on his neck. Then he took off his burning finger and stuck it in a candlestick on a box. And still holding on his head, he crawled back into the hole that he had come out of. And from under the ground, they heard him saying, "You all can have my land, can have my home, can have all my money and be as rich as I was, because you buried me in one piece together, head and corpse." Then they took the candlestick blazing with the Hant's finger and went back upstairs and washed themselves with lye soap. Then the woman made up the cornbread with the spring water and greased the skillet and the hog meat and put the hoe cake in the lifted lid on the tongs. And put in the hoe cake and lifted the lid on with the tongs and put coals of fire on top of the lid and rounded the edges of the skillet and cooked the hoe cake done. Her man put the coffee and water in the pot and set it on the trivet to boil. Then they ate that supper and them beans and that rabbit and that hoe cake and hot coffee. And they lived there all their lives and had barrels of money to buy victuals and clothes with. And they never heard no more about the man that come upstairs without no head where his head ought to be. That's cool. The end. So the source of this story is called Bundles of Trouble and Other Tar Heel Tales by workers of the Writers Program of the Work Projects Administration in the state of North Carolina. This tale was recorded by Nancy Watkins, and it was told by an African-American boy named Des Foy to the Watkins children at the family's kitchen hearth in Madison, North Carolina. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Fun and cute. All right. And I decided why not? I'm going to share mine. So, also another recommendation from Jujube that I found called Forbidden Fruit Love Stories from the Underground Railroad. So, this is going to be our February Valentine's Day reads. I'm like super excited about this. I really hope.
When it's Wayfair, you can't help but show off. It's impossible to keep the deals to yourself.
I knew that was going to do that. Oh, I really hope I can find a queer story in here, but one or two fingers crossed, who knows? Anywho, I hope y'all enjoyed the story. Thanks for getting cozy with me. And I think I might come back on live for Friday or so. So to hire me, Symba Luna, for voice acting and narration, please email the SymbaLunaShow at gmail.com. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.